Let's start from the Ashanti region, where suspects in the gruesome murder of a young lady of Pakoso in Kumasi has been linked to the death of two other women whose bodies were found in the area earlier this year. 27-year-old Samira Farouk was brutally murdered by the suspect, who residents believe could be behind a series of murders in the area. Nana Bonsu is believed to have lured his victims, mainly prostitutes, to his hideout and succeeded in robbing and, in some cases, killing them. Lava Firm's Erastus Asaridonko was in the Pakoso community 2 days after the incident, and now reports.
The Pakoso town is shaken by the gruesome murder of a 27-year-old mother of two. These two carpenters got wind of the crime, chased down the suspect and arrested him. She was screaming, "Ah, ah, ah." And I saw the young man throwing bricks at something 3 times. For a moment, I thought it was a snake until I saw his clothes soaked in blood. We rushed in, chased him, and arrested him. The victim was later identified as Samira Farouk, and a mother of 2. Omar Farouk is her father.
I don't know. Hospital.
There are conflicting reports on the condition of the suspect, whether dead or alive. If this were to be a lawless state, we would have lynched him as well. But we have laws, and I want justice. As her friends seek justice for her, residents of Pakoso, where she was killed, want a probe into the death of other women whose bodies were found under a canopy of trees a few meters from the suspect's home.
2 months
Barely 2 months ago, a body was picked from that forest. We hear stories of women being stabbed and killed here. He's a criminal, and with his latest act, we believe he's behind these killings. We are scared. You can't use this road after 6 p.m. He robs people of their belongings on this road, close to the forest. He was arrested once and given some hot slaps. If he is the one behind these crimes, then it's a bad thing. Now we are told that all the bodies found in this canopy of thick trees were women. I have with me here somebody who has stayed here for some time and has been part of the local watchdog committee.
Yeah, that's what I say. Be Jumano, Abua community no. And it's
we should have a watchdog committee to improve security here. If only authorities will register and give us ID cards. We are volunteering. We are ready to work to boost security here. But without the ID cards, we can't work. Suspect is still in police custody as investigations continue. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaridonko, Pakoso, Ashanti region.
Let's Let's move now to the Upper West region where robbers shot and killed 2 police officers last night. The 2 officers are said to have arrived at the scene of a robbery at the Swarungu market when the robbers shot at them. The patrol motorbike they were riding on is said to have exploded when a bullet hit the fuel tank. Robbers who shot and killed 2 police officers in the area last night. The police have since placed a 50,000 bounty on the criminals who are on the run. Let's speak with correspondent Albert Story with updates on this one. Albert Story, what's the latest on this incident?
Yeah, so Aisha, as you rightly said, the police have put a 50,000 Ghana cedi bounty on them. And so whoever is able to volunteer information that can lead to the arrest of these robbers will take that reward. The IGP, Dr. George Akufu Dampari, has been visiting this area today, and he's taking time to assure the residents that they are doing everything within their power to arrest these criminals and bring them to book. He's visited the chief of the area. He's also been to the regional coordinating council to meet with the regional minister, and later to the regional police headquarters where he met the police officers as well. And he's basically been giving them the assurance that he is with them in this time and encouraging them to continue with their work and not to be deterred by what has happened today. By what has happened last night. Now, one of the things that came up in the course of all of this was that the police want the public to volunteer information and to also support the police in all of this, because these were officers who were on duty last night and they stumbled basically on this robbery scene and the robbers shot at them. Now, one of the things that also happened was that just to go back to how this all happened, last night at about 8 p.m., police received information that a robbery attack was taking place here in Zwarungu. And
so, Albert, sorry. Go ahead, Albert.
Hello, Aisha, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
So while they were mobilizing men to come to the scene, what happened was that these 2 officers were on patrol on a motorcycle in the town as well. And just around the time the robbery were taking place, they were also passing. We are currently at the place, and one of the things the residents here have told us was that they actually stopped to buy food from a woman just by the street. And when the robbers spotted them, they assumed that being robbed by these robbers.
Albert Sorry is our man in the Upper East region. He's trying to paint a picture of what has happened with the murder of these 2 policemen. Remember,
these police officers were attacked. Now, Aisha, if you will permit me, where I'm standing now is exactly where the police officers were shot, just by this shed here. We're told that they stopped just here, the background behind me, to buy fried yam from a woman who was doing her business yesterday. And from where I was standing earlier, one of the robbers who was keeping watch while the others held their victim hostage in his shop warned him to go back, and he was firing warning shots, and everything just escalated from there. They were standing right here on this spot. This place that you see down here, basically is the debris of what happened where they were standing, the burning of the motorbikes, and even I can see remains of one of the officers' boots in the gutter here. And so the mobile money vendor we spoke to, whose interview we'll bring later on to our viewers, was basically explaining to us that one of the police officers actually fell into the gutter after he was shot, and he was still alive. The other one had already died, and his body was burning. The other one was trying to escape, and the robbers came closer, and one of them ordered that he should be shot because he was still trying to escape. It's a very disheartening story that was narrated to us earlier today. And I've taken time to actually look at everything that is here. The police have already visited this crime scene and taken the information that they need. And so we are permitted to be here. But that's basically how these two men lost their lives untimely yesterday here in Zuarungu. The residents have also been talking to us, and one of the things they're saying is that for most of them, this is the first time they have witnessed something like this. There's a woman who told us it was her second time, but then they are hoping that the police will be able to bring these culprits to book. Some of the shops, in fact, the other shops opposite the one that was robbed have not also opened. We suspect out of trauma by what happened last night. A lot of the residents that we spoke to also are traumatized by what happened here yesterday. In fact, most of them didn't even want to be interviewed on camera. The few of them who volunteered to speak to us said that they are saddened by what has happened, but they are also, relieved by the assurances that the IGP gave them when he visited them and addressed them this morning. Aisha.
Albert Sorry is our Upper East Regional Correspondent. Kwesi Fori is Acting Director General of Public Affairs Department of the Ghana Police Service. He has joined us right now for more. ACP, thanks so much for joining us. First, what's the briefing you've received with regards to the murder of these two police officers?
Thank you very much. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. Yoyekupu Dampare, has said it all that the police will do whatever it takes, to get the perpetrators of this kind of crime. And that he has put a cash reward of 50,000 cedis in place. Whoever comes with a credible information, and that might lead to the arrest of the suspect is much welcome. Again, we've also put in special intelligence-led ops in place to make sure that we track them and get them arrested to face justice. All that we were saying, no matter the reportage, from your regional correspondent and what police is doing, it is a very sad event, a very sad moment for the people who witnessed this dastardly act. And all that we will say for now is the police is so determined, to fight crime no matter where it's coming, even at the peril of our lives. The IGP has assured the chiefs, the Upper East Regional Police Command, and the community in which the act took place, that they will do whatever, to establish police authority and primacy, to make sure that good enforcement of the law takes place in that jurisdiction. Meanwhile, he has trust in the regional police commander and his men to deliver.
Now, ACP, there's also a gruesome murder of a young lady at Pakoso in Kumasi. The killer, who residents believe could be behind series of murders in that area. What briefing have you had with regards to this incident also?
Thank you. All that I would say is the investigation is ongoing. We are with the Ashanti Regional Commander at the moment. And I believe the coming days, the coming times, we might come out with more detailed information regarding what you've asked.
Now, this brings us to the general security of the country. I mean, there's been cause to worry about the seeming increase in armed robbery, murder, and other criminal activities in the country. Is the police overwhelmed with the situation?
You might have noticed that the police are on top of their activities. There is a general good security throughout the country, though there have been certain instances, like what we witnessed yesterday, that calls for public conversation on security. But you might have seen the massive deployment done, not only in the capital city, Accra, Kumasi, the Northern Corridor, in the Grand Place, So you can see that sort of ground security operations going on. And as we move closer to Christmas, we are still on hold. I mean, we holding security dear to our heart. We realize it, and we can do our duty.
I think we're losing ACP Kwesi for there. Let's try and ACP, if you could reposition yourself because you're making a very important point.
I believe that
yes, it's clearer now. It's clearer now.
Yes. So all that I'm saying is, we are determined to deliver, and we're delivering a whole lot of security products across the country. Ghana will remain a peaceful country at all times, but those who have decided, to engage in violent crimes will be met with the full force of the service in accordance with law. And for this Christmas, you might have also noticed that there are a lot of exercises taking place all over the country, not only in the capital city and the regional capital. We are everywhere, and we will continue to make sure that we bring security to bear. Yesterday incident, these fine young police officers were on their normal patrols when they were suddenly, attacked. It is very regrettable, very painful event. But all that I can say is that no matter what the criminals intend to do, we are ready to reverse it. We are ready to make sure that we create that desirable security for all, even at the peril of our lives.
ACP, I have you hold for a minute for me because I would be delighted for you to share with me your plan for this Christmas, at least before, during, and after the festive season. But let's bring in security analyst Adib Sani, who does a lot of research into this area. Adib, I'm grateful for your time. First, too many murders in recent times. Now it's the police who are being murdered. What's your preliminary observation of what has happened?
Well, first of all, let me say good afternoon to you, your viewers, and of course, ACP, they are doing a great job out there, and they need the support of the public. Like I always say, we are fighting the criminals. I mean, IGP Dampari came with renewed energy. The police has implemented a number of interventions aimed at improving the security situation in the country. As a matter of fact, some successes have been chalked. In recent days, we hear of armed robbers killed here and there. We've heard of intelligence-led operations that have succeeded in apprehending some robbers not too long ago. An intelligence-led operation led to the killing of some robbers at around Shiashi after they robbed someone of his money near a bank at airport. So some successes have been chalked. But like I always contend, when you fight the criminals would fight back. They seem to be losing the battle. So they are using all sorts of desperate means to get back at us, so to speak, to, as it were, send a clear message that, hey, we are still in charge. But it's quite obvious that they are not in charge. And like I always say, the police cannot do the work alone. They need us. Without the support of the general population, it will be almost impossible for the police to do their job. That is why it is imperative that citizens are educated to understand that they also have a role to play so far as policing is concerned. If you have any information that can lead to a criminal.
Adib Sani, we are losing you. Adib Sani, if you can kindly position yourself well for me. And as you try to do that, let me bring in... Yes, you're back and it's loud and clear. Yes, Adib, go ahead. Yes, we can hear you, Adib. Go ahead.
Sorry. So, like I indicated, I don't know where it ended before the audio went off, but it is imperative that the citizens cooperate with the police. The police cannot do the work alone. If you have any information that can lead to the capture of a dangerous criminal, why do you keep it? Citizens would have to be made to understand that they have a role to play so far as policing is concerned.
Now, what could be accounting for this? What is your research pointing to, Adib?
Well, a lot of it has to do with our inability to invest so much in situational crime prevention, and it's hinged on a theory in criminology called rational choice. Aisha, before anyone perpetrates a crime, according to criminologists, the persons are humans. They are able to juxtapose the risk against the reward. I mean, so the probability of you getting caught, if it is high, you would naturally be disincentivized from perpetrating the crime. But if you feel that if I perpetrate this crime, the likelihood I'll be caught is very low, then, I'll be encouraged to perpetrate the crime in the first place. So if we are able to improve on crime and investigation, on the investigation processes, go beyond the manual way of doing things, resort to electronic means, the forensics. We need more forensic analysts within the police service. That should be able to improve the investigation processes, and that would invariably get more people to refrain from even perpetrating the crimes in the first place. Secondly, we have some deep-rooted socioeconomic and geopolitical deficits in our society that is pushing a lot more people into uncertainty and into, criminal behavior. And if you are able to deal with these human insecurities, people not having access to basic necessities of life, such as water, such as food, such as a means to a living, it pushes them into uncertainty. And of course, that is why a lot more people would go into crime. Mind you, some people go into crime because they are opportunists. Others go into crime as a means of survival. That is in no means to rationalize crime in the first place. But if we appreciate all of these nuances, governments and of course civil society and other bodies should be able to put in place certain mechanisms to improve the situation, so we would have less and less people wanting to go into the criminal enterprise.
Adib, now there's a 50,000 reward for anybody who helps the police unravel the perpetrators behind this crime. There are other crimes to be dealt with. Now, what would you want to see in unraveling the truth behind this crime, for instance?
Well, Aisha, thankfully, we have security cameras all over town. I don't know whether it is operational in other parts of the country, but in Accra and other urban areas, they are operational, and that could help. The first 24, 48 hours is of the essence, and I'm particularly excited that ACP Kwesi is on the line, and I'm sure he would agree with me. The first 48 hours is critical. And like I indicated, the police cannot do it alone. So if any member of the public has any information, that should be, within the shortest possible time, be given to the police. At the same time, we should resort to the use of forensics, and perhaps that would also, to a large extent, help. Because the more time delayed, the more complexing it becomes, even though there are some investigations that can take several years, and in the end, it is unraveled. But for now, I think that the actions of these criminals has created some level of apprehension. That is why it's critical that the police and other national security agencies will have to bring their resources to bear, collaborate, so we are able to catch these criminals within the shortest possible time.
Now, ACP Kwesi, I'm sure you're still there. As we approach Christmas, I want you to share with me what the plan is for the police. Hello, ACP Kwesi. I'm asking what the plan is for the police, because Ghanaians are looking forward to some assurances. What exactly is the plan to ensure safety before, during, and after the festivities?
One, to contain all manner of crimes, to make sure that the police are out there, visibly out there, to enforce the laws of the country, allay the fear of crime, and make sure that we are everywhere, to provide better services for our people. You might have seen massive deployment in Accra and all the regional capitals on our roads, among others. And therefore, this Christmas, we have would be and doing everything possible tailored towards the free event. And then let me also use this opportunity that the cash reward that the Inspector General has put in place, yes, they are driving to the good people of this country that driving to share responsibility, and that whatever they are putting, this crime, any other crime, people should volunteer information to the police. And with this particular one, the Zuarungu one, they can contact the regional police commander, the divisional district commanders, and offer information. We also have the intelligence services on the ground. We can also approve them and offer them information that might lead to that. Then let me say that we would not be taken aback with this action of the criminals, and that will be at the forefront of fighting crime, serving our people better, and even at the peril of our lives, we will do it. We've sworn, to work for the good people of this country, and the leadership is doing everything possible, to move us on and do a better job for our country, men and women.
Adib, as we approach Christmas, what should be the approach, especially from the police and the individuals at the individual level?
That symbiotic relationship is there. That goodwill is there. It is a question of exploiting that relationship. And as I said, the police are out there, visibly out there. Undertaking coordinated, police operations, static, vehicular, and foot patrols. The intelligence-led aspect is also very huge and is working. And let me put some up that taking into consideration those who have been committing crimes. For instance, the day live robberies in Accra, we've been able to stop it. We've been able to arrest several people as indicated by the Inspector General of Police, and they are presently caged. And we've done a lot of special internal tax operations aimed at weeding out criminals, and that has also been done, and we will not be caught by this development. The police are on top, security is on top, though we've recorded certain events, certain types of criminal activity that call for public conversation. That does not suggest that the police are underdogs in this regard. We will continue to maintain the security of this country with all our energies, and good efforts will be made towards that. This is a well-directed effort led by the Inspector General, and lo and behold, we shall succeed.
Adib, what should be the approach for the police and also for the individuals?
One thing is promoting officer safety. Officer safety is very paramount. That during their patrols, during their engagement in the communities out there on the road, they should be very mindful and make sure that their personal security stands high in spite of risk associated with our work or risk associated with police all over the world. It is not a rosy job. And we will do that. And we also advise members of the public, to be very security conscious, to be very alert. And when incidents happen, they should be able to provide accurate information to the police. And this one, we are working closely with community.
Okay, Aisha.
ACP Furi, I'm grateful for your time. Yes, Adib Sani, you are on.
Okay, so I guess ACP wasn't hearing that. Okay, so I think it is important to recognize the 4 types of crime that is usually more prevalent during the festive season. We have robberies because obviously people should have withdrawn lots of monies from the bank as you go into the holidays. So criminals feel that since people have a lot of money on them, they can go after it. Then secondly, we have property crime, where usually people leave their homes for all-night services. They have gifts in their homes, and so the criminals feel this is a unique opportunity for them to break into homes to steal all sorts of gifts. We have others coming from all over the world to join their families at home, and as they come home, they come with different types of gifts, and criminals feel this is the right time to come after it, to go for it. Then we have issues with cyber criminality. When you go on social media, you see a lot of promos, left, right, center. That is why it is critical for Ghanaians to exercise a great deal of circumspection before they purchase things online. Someone can create sort of, just an example, a Melcom page on social media and make it look like you pay, will deliver it to you. So please be very, very careful before you pay. Always go and look whether there are comments, whether there are reviews before you pay. I know of a lady who recently bought items worth about 3,000 cedis. She paid and the items were never delivered. Then she went back to the page and realized that they had disabled the comment section. So nobody can complain that I have bought before and it wasn't delivered to me. So you need to take note of that. And the last one are opportunistic criminals. We invite artisans into our homes during this festive season because we need some upgrade. Carpenters, masons, and others, artisans. When we invite them, sometimes we give them unfettered access to all corners of the house. And according to crime statistics, most of the people who break into our homes are people we know, and they know us as well. So please be very careful. If you are even going to pay them, usually I suggest you pay them using electronic means. But if you are paying the person 5 cedis, yet you bring a wand of cash, remove 5 cedis for the person, then you are basically telling the person, I have a lot of money at home, and in the night they might come after those monies. So in all, let us exercise a great deal of situational awareness at all times. Let us move in groups, and let us avoid dark places. And we'll also be contributing in our own way, towards ensuring security this season.
Adib Sani, thank you so much for your time. He's a security analyst, and he's been helping us understand the situation we have now and what we can do to check the safety of our country. Now, the police have intercepted a truck carrying 7 bags of narcotic drugs suspected to be Indian hemp close to a bank premises along the Cape Coast Takoradi Highway. The truck is said to have been offloaded from an unknown articulated truck brought in by a driver under the care of a security man at the bank. District Police Commander for Elmina, Superintendent Ibrahim Bansa, has further details in this report.
On 13th December 2021, at 2:00 a.m., the Elmina District Police Command, acting on a tip-off, intercepted a bag of rice and 7 bags of narcotic drugs, suspected to be Indian hemp, close to a bank premises along the Cape Coast Takoradi Highway. The said sacks were offloaded from an unknown flat body at a quarter truck, brought in by a certain driver under the care of the security man, Philip Anagrati, age 52 years, at the bank with an information that the owner of the goods will pick them up before 4:00 a.m. and left for Takoradi. Police quickly moved in to the bank premises and laid ambush, awaiting the goods owner. Later, the goods owner sent one Nana Aso, age 40 years, to pick the said 7 bags of narcotic drugs together with the 1 bag of rice, where he was arrested together with the security man. During interrogation, suspect Nana also mentioned 2 suspects currently at large. The 7 bags of sack loads were cut open in the presence of the 2 suspects, where all the sacks contain compressed dry leaves suspected to be Indian hemp. The parcels were 195 in number, concealed under used clothing. The exhibit parcels were repacked and kept to be forwarded to forensic laboratory, Accra, for examination. Informants have been activated to help arrest the other suspects who are at large to assist police investigations.
We're still live on the Pulse, coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are on Go TV channel 144 and DSTV channel 421. You can tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. We'll take a break. There is more after that. Welcome back to the Pulse. To the rest of our stories, tricycle and motorcycle accidents have resulted in more deaths than any other motor accidents in the Volta region. According to the Volta Regional Motor Traffic and Transport Unit, 253 accident cases were recorded involving tricycles and motorbikes, resulting in 57 deaths between January 1, 2021 and 30th September 2021. This development informed stakeholders to engage commercial operators to build their capacity to ensure sanity on the roads and reduce needless deaths.
The Volta Regional Motor Traffic and Transport Unit recorded 253 tricycle and motorbike accidents with 57 deaths between 1st January 2021 and 30th September 2021. Commercial vehicle accident deaths recorded were 56, while private vehicles recorded 18 within the same period. Negligence, untrained riders, minors engaging in riding, and disregard to traffic regulations were some factors identified to have contributed to crashes involving tricycles and motorcycles. Speaking at an engagement with a section of the riders, the Volta Regional MTTU Commander, Chief Superintendent Stephen Delaporte, expressed disgust at the disturbing development. He detailed that, though operating commercial motorcycle and tricycle is illegal, the police was lenient and allowed the riders to operate, since their livelihoods depend on it. He therefore cautioned them to abide by the road traffic regulations to ensure sanity on the roads to reduce road crashes.
Whilst some people are observing traffic lights, if it is red, they know that it is safe for them to cross. That is the time people wanted to go quick to beat the traffic, and then accidents. Respect of road traffic regulations and the side posts. Another U-turn. Traffic light and the traffic light people are doing. Some of you are doing U-turn over there. Use of reflective jacket and helmets. People are not using it.
The Volta Regional Manager of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Samuel Lodonu, indicated that his outfit is ready to collaborate and ensure the riders acquire the needed skills and knowledge.
To make matters short, we are ready to assist you. It's obvious you are so ignorant about every education on the road and the road signs. I drive on the road too. There's a special place around the barracks where you are moving from the housing down like this. All the riders overtake through the right. We just want to assist you so that we can at least minimize the road carnage.
The Volta Regional Director of the Road Safety Authority, Engineer Kwesi Yurenchi, advised the riders to endeavor to acquire formal training before engaging in business.
And it looks as if we love death or dead than living. If you see the way we do things, I hope that going forward, we shall change our ways. And we can only change our ways when we go for formal training. That is the only way we can change our ways.
Yes, the manual riding, it is a major concern. But it's like some of the manual riding, they ride their own parent motor. So it's difficult for us to control it. But since the authority also have noticed this, we appeal for the authority to do this work to bring sanity on the road.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews.
JoyNews is picking up information of a fatal accident near popular rest stop Lindador on the Accra-Kumasi road. It is unclear what caused the accident, but unconfirmed reports suggest there were fatalities. Our correspondent Kofi Siao has just joined us for more. Kofi, what can you report about this incident?
As of now, we can confirm that 5 persons are dead in this accident, and the accident involved 3 vehicles, 2 Toyota vehicles, that is a Toyota Corolla and a Toyota Hiace and a Nissan Pathfinder. The information we are getting from the police is that the Toyota Corolla was driving from Kumasi direction to Accra, and it was overspeeding. So when it got to a point called Eminecine, it tried to, pass another stationary truck in the middle of the road, and in the course of doing that, he veered into the lane of the vehicles coming from Accra, and it collided with the Nissan Pathfinder with registration number. It's a side plate number DB5043B-21. So another vehicle, that is the Toyota Hiace, heading also from Accra to Kumasi, crashed into these 2 vehicles, which were already, involved in the accident. And 5 persons, according to the Kebbi Divisional NCCD commander, died in that accident. As I speak with you, several other passengers who are on board the Toyota Hiace are receiving treatment at the Kebbi Government Hospital and the Osino Health Center.
Do we have any information about these 5 people who are dead?
Well, the 5 people who are dead, I'm told by the police, 3 of them are males and 2 are females. That is the only information we have on them now. The police says they have launched investigations into the incident, and they're going to brief us more on what really transpired.
And have the families of these 5 been able to identify them?
No, they are yet to receive any family member or members from wherever they are to the police station where they could be made to identify the deceased people.
Kofi Siao is a man who is monitoring this for us. We'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the Ghana Rights Interprofessional Body has paid a courtesy call on the former president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. The group, made up of peasant farmers, has appealed to the former president to advocate and publicize the consumption of locally grown rice. The group, led by Nana Kwabena J.I., noted with concern the increasing interest in imported rice, expecting government institutions.
This is what we want government to do. Where government can do or help the rice industry is land development. Land development is very expensive. I don't think any private person can just get up and do land development. We want government to look at land development very seriously. We've heard them say that they are doing something in Pualugu. It's a huge one. But if you come down south from the Ashanti region, you go to Volta region, Eastern region, Central region, and even Greater Accra around the Suchari area, we need those marshy grounds there developed. You don't need a sophisticated dams there. All that you need is some boreholes dug out so that the farmer can control the flow of water. If we are able to do this, okay, you will see farmers will be producing twice in a year. Currently, most rice farmers are only producing 1 because there are no funds. Even if you produce the rice, sometimes selling becomes a little difficult because of the management of the rice. The qualities, you see the quality suffering. But if we can put certain things in place, okay, give millers money to buy paddies from the farmers, believe me, within the next couple of years, we will be self-sufficient.
Receiving the delegation, former President John Dramani Mahama challenged government to invest more in agro-processing. He says that government, with the help of private stakeholders, can make the rice sector a viable one.
Rice has become an important commodity and is being grown in all the regions of our country now. Formerly, it was mostly not the north, because of the level ground was the most ideal place. But now we have lowland valleys and things where rice can be grown, and they have more humidity and moisture. So places like the Volta region are becoming very, strong, competitors in the rice growing area, Western region and other places. And so we can exploit all that to grow more rice. But it takes people who have an interest in it, and government must step in, because it's not about growing the rice, it's about providing the processing facility to move the rice from the farm to the market. I mean, nobody goes and buys paddy rice to cook and eat. They want the rice, prepared so that they can just put it in the pot and cook it. And so between the farmers and the market, there must be enough processing capacity. And so in our time, we try to push processing. The Brazilian company, that set up the mill in Volta region, we encouraged them. They came as investors. We made them, invest. And so the Avnash, rice mill plant in Nyankpala, the Avnash family came here, and I told them that, look, we want to recapture, rice production, so set up a rice milling plant for us. And they did. That rice milling plant is there. It's a first-class rice mill. So we have the capacity to be able to produce enough rice to feed ourselves in this country, and even to export, But it needs that government must, come in. Private sector alone cannot, raise the resources to be able to do it. And so I have said several times that we need a capacity to process. If you bring in the capacity to process, the farmers will rise to the occasion. Of course, fertilizer and things are expensive, but if they get a fair price, for the paddy, and the millers to get a fair markup for, processing and selling, it will be a win-win partnership, And so I do think that, yes, planting for food and jobs is a good thing, but we must look strategically at some crops for which, if we achieve self-sufficiency, it will help this economy. Right now, foreign exchange, our cedi is going down, the dollar is going up, and that is because of the amount of rice we're importing, the amount of palm oil we're importing, the amount of vegetable oils, the amount of chicken we're importing.
Some members of the minority are mounting pressure on the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to admit the motion filed by its leader seeking to reverse the approval of the 2022 budget. In the absence of the Speaker, of the two controversial issues played out on the floor of the House. First was the decision of the majority to overturn the Speaker's ruling affirming the rejection of the budget, and also the First Deputy Speaker's decision to throw out a motion filed by the minority leader Haruna Idrisu. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, will sit today to preside over sitting for the first time in a fortnight. Tamale Central MP Murtala Mohammed has been speaking to my colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson.
We expect the Speaker, in my opinion, to reverse all the nonsense that happened. And I describe it without any apology. Yesterday...
You expect him to reverse?
We expect him to do so. We expect him to do so.
You don't want progress in the House?
What progress? We must progress at the expense of rules and regulations governing the conduct of all of us, so that tomorrow someone decides that we are not going to even respect the standing orders or the Constitution. We get to Parliament and we give everybody a slap, as long as we are not in white dress, because that is what we think is deemed fit for us to do. When the Constitution bars us from doing those things, are we compromising the very rules, the very laws that we have set up for ourselves? Are we compromising the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana that determines the conduct of everybody, including the President? Is that why we are compromising? I can tell you that even if we need to forfeit our holidays and the budget is relayed for the purposes of respecting the legal and constitutional and standing orders regulations, we can do that. We must not. There is no seemingly peace in the chamber. No, there is no any alternative to respecting rules and regulations govern the conduct of business.
You have been part of the budget estimates at the committee level of the trade industry.
Let me
Your other colleagues have done that. About 4 of the estimates have been laid before the House and subsequently have been approved. In fact, today, I am told that about 10 of the estimates will be brought before the House for approval.
Elton, yesterday you saw what happened in the chamber. I was particularly gutted about what happened. You remember when I walked into the chamber, and then they were...
No, but I'll talk about that, but the point I'm making to you is that if the speaker decides to reverse the thing, you have to start all the process all over again.
Anything that is built on illegality must be dismantled.
You are stagnating the progress of Parliament.
No, stagnating. What you are telling me is that we must as well allow crime to fester. And then we use justifications of time and the so-called progress of this nation to disregard rules and regulations, to disregard our laws. Is that what you're suggesting? We have agreed to a consultative assembly to have a constitution. That constitution should regulate the conduct of all of us. That constitution talks about the 3 arms of government, where there is expected to have separation of powers and checks and balances. The extent to which you have one arm, which is being destroyed because of executive influence, are we allowing the executive to determine to the legislative arm what is right and what is not right? What is right and what is not right is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. And as far as Parliament is concerned, it's enshrined in the standing orders. Mind you, no provision in the standing order should contravene any clause or article or provision in the 1992 Constitution. And as a matter of fact, even the practices that are generally accepted in Parliament must not be seen contravening any provisions of the 1992
So you expect the minority leader to raise the matter before the House and the Speaker to make a determination on that?
As if that was enough. You saw what happened when we came back and Honorable Haruna moved a motion.
Right.
I mean, it's bizarre.
So that motion should be reintroduced to the House?
That motion was legally moved. That if you observe what happened, the Speaker, then Honorable Joe Osei Usu, he allowed the motion to
Of course, I mean, the viewers were live on TV. The viewers know everything that happened with the program. So you want Haruna to reintroduce the motion?
Absolutely. You saw what happened yesterday. What they wanted to do, they were rushing to do that before the Speaker comes. So that let's rush within 2 days, let's approve everything, let the Speaker, in this case, Honorable Joe Osei, approve the entire estimate, whether people talk or not, whether illegality was allowed to fester or not. This president doesn't listen to anybody. He rules this country like a king, not a president.
Well, you are making the allegation,
we have seen many instances where people have demonstrated, where people have cried, where people have demanded on the basis of violations of our laws. Yet this man will not listen. So that is what they wanted to do. So our participation in the estimates was to ensure that we do not give them the opportunity to go ahead with the illegality. So I expect the Speaker to do nothing less than to reverse the illegality that Honorable Joe Osei perpetrated. And this man is a danger to parliamentary proceedings. And I can tell you he's a danger because why? If you have a speaker...
That's the first deputy.
Absolutely, he's a
senior member of this House.
In fact, he's a threat. Look, when it comes to the laws, nobody is above the law. Now, if you have a speaker who sits there, circumvent the constitutional provisions, circumvent the standing orders, and what influences his decision is his whims and caprices. Now, if you have that person who is doing this, even in the bare fact of not having quorum, he allowed a motion. In fact, after the debating, he allowed a motion on the approval of a ministry to be done. I am saying that this man is a danger to parliamentary proceedings.
You don't want peace to prevail. There's seemingly peace in the House. So any decision by the Speaker, Alban Babin, to reverse what has happened.
What is peace?
Could create another level of tension. Is that what you want?
Can there be peace without justice? I want you to answer me. Can there be peace without justice? Can there be peace with an atmosphere of blatant disregard to the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana? Can there be peace with absolute disregard to the standing orders of Parliament? That anybody who sits there can do what he likes at any time? If we allow this thing to stand, then we should prepare in this country for a destruction of our democratic processes.
Let's go live to Parliament and speak with my colleague Paka Wilson, who is monitoring events for us. Paka, what can you report from Parliament? Has sitting begun?
Aisha, sitting is yet to commence, but I can report to you that members of Parliament from both sides of the House are present in their numbers, the NPP and the NDC. As I speak to you, quite a number of them are seen in their seats, waiting patiently for the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, to preside over sessions for today. Now, the reason there's been some level of delay is because we know that some of the committees are working on the budget estimates. In fact, I've been told, reliably informed by my sources at the leadership level, that about 10 of the estimates will be put before the House today for consideration and subsequent approval. But Aisha, you know that there's been some raging issues in Parliament in the last few weeks. Of course, it's been 2 weeks in the absence of the Speaker of Parliament himself, and the minority has served notice that they will reintroduce their motion to set aside the approval of the budget. Of course, we heard the Tamale Central MP a while ago, Murtala Mohammed. I would meet the Member of Parliament for secondary constituency in the Western region. He's also a Deputy Minister of Energy, Andrew Japames. Honorable, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure.
Now, briefly, the Speaker has returned. The minority has still noticed that. The motion to set aside the approval of the budget, and they will lay before the Speaker and force him, compel him to admit it. What are his expectations?
Well, I'm not sure that the minority has any such power to compel the Speaker to admit any motion. And so, if that is the suggestion that is coming from them,
they want him to admit the motion.
Well, it is not within their right.
In fact, they are mounting pressure on him to overturn what you did.
Well, the Speaker is enjoined to act in accordance with the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. He is supposed to be dispassionate, non-biased, act independently and without any influences, undue or otherwise, from any quarters. And so it would come as a surprise to me that based on some pressures from the NDC caucus, he would admit a motion that is only seeking to really litigate a matter that, as far as I'm concerned, is moot. Because otherwise, why would the budget estimates be under consideration as we speak? Indeed, yesterday, the Transport Ministry's estimates were approved. The Railway Development Ministry's estimates were approved. Environment, Science and Technology was approved. And so we've gone past the stage where you're going to reintroduce a motion that has been dismissed, that is seeking to reverse a certain decision that was taken, pursuant to which the budget approval was tabled, and pursuant to which the minority are participating at the committee level for the consideration of the estimates.
But this is Parliament, Honorable. It's a House of Record.
It's futility.
It is a House of Record, and the minority has argued.
I hope you captured my last word, because that answers whether it's a House of Record or otherwise.
No, the record is an exercise of futility.
Futility, absolutely, because the record is that the budget of the Republic of Ghana for the financial year 2022 has been duly approved by Parliament and is under consideration at the committee level.
But do you want the Speaker to make any pronouncements on events in the last, including
I do not expect him to relitigate a matter that has already been dealt with. The powers that were exercised by the first Deputy Speaker, who had taken the chair in his absence, were legitimate. It was within the right of the Speaker to look at the merit of the motion. Remember that indeed the minority leader had made an oral application that was dismissed on the floor. And then subsequently, when that dismissal was issued, then came back under another order of the provisions of the standing orders of the House. I can't remember exactly what provision, but I believe it was going to be under Order 72 or 69 or such order to table a formal motion. Of course, the first Deputy Speaker, exercising the powers of the Speaker at the time, deemed that motion to be an attempt to really litigate a matter that had been considered and the decision table taken on. Our rules are clear that within a particular meeting, you cannot seek to introduce a matter that has already been deliberated upon and decision taken on. And so, for me, of course, in the spirit of the consensus that we are building, and which, as far as I'm concerned, has prevailed at a committee level during the consideration of the estimate, I would not wish to use words that may stoke some sentiment. And so, but in all honesty, this is really, if you like, maybe tickling their base.
Actually, now I'll let you go. But finally, for me, I've seen a bill, the financial bill accompanying the introduction of the e-levy. The government is still standing at 1.75. We heard that there were some compromises and that you are amenable to 1.5.
I'm not sure that. I don't know what you heard, but I've seen the bill. Well, of course, there's an addendum order paper that has been laid, which indicates that the e-levy would formally be laid and read for the first time today. Right. And that's exactly what's going to happen. But back to the point of you've heard some compromise. I don't know what you heard. Because the finance minister, in his letter to the speaker, was categorical that some representation had taken place, arising out of which he had accommodated some concerns that had been raised and so submitted some modifications. Those modifications that he submitted did not include the rate of the e-levy. In any event, I have said that as a parliament, it is within our right, when bills are introduced on the floor, to make an input at the consideration stage. The clause-by-clause consideration of the bill. People can table counter clauses for consideration. And so the talk that the Minister of Finance had set 1.75, and that because that was unacceptable to the minority, the budget in its entirety was going to be rejected, was an exercise, to borrow the words of Kweku Baako, in premature ejaculation. Because the time for which you make the input with respect to the rate and even the tenure is the consideration stage. And so I suggested to them that why don't you wait for the bill to be tabled, at which point whatever input that you have can be made for a vote to be taken on.
But so government won't compromise on the 1.75 as you've seen in the bill.
Well, that's the proposal from government, which the minister has justified. The reason why he feels that Parliament should give him the power to impose that levy on a certain category of financial services or electronic transactions. It is up to Parliament to then deliberate on that proposal from government and to agree or disagree with government. And so we will do the needful when the bill is formally laid and gone through the motions and the process.
Thank you very much. Ejiofor Mensah is Member of Parliament for Secondary constituency, and I'm trying to get a quick reaction from some of the minority members as well. I see some of the minority members.
Definitely, Paka will be coming back to you in our subsequent bulletins for more on the happenings in Parliament. We'll have to move on from here because the Ghana Boundary Commission is urging farmers in disputed boundary areas in Ghana and Togo to respect a directive by the District Security Council and desist from farming in those areas as it takes steps to resolve boundary disagreement there. The Commission has been trying to resolve an international boundary line dispute between Ghana and Volta Achim in the Volta region and the Hanyigba Toji in Togo. Speaking at a community sensitization program at Volta Achim, National Coordinator of the Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said the Commission will use international best practices to resolve the disagreement.
Residents tell me they have every reason to celebrate as the Ghana Boundary Commission takes steps to resolve the disagreement over the disputed international boundary line, which for many years has been a source of pain and worry to the people of Volta Achim and Ghana.
We're here at the Deba grounds here in Volta Achim. Officials of the Ghana Boundary Commission are here together with the leaders of the communities here. The chiefs and people are all gathered. You can see in the background some pop-up music. Two different groups here in this community are dancing and singing in jubilation and celebrating the steps taken by the Ghana Boundary Commission to resolve the international boundary line disagreements between this community here in Ghana and then the neighboring community in Togo.
Who West DC has more to say.
This dispute, the dispute between the Volta Achem people and the Dar of Haimbatoji has been age-long. This is over a 40-year-old misunderstanding, which largely resulted from the redemarcation of the country boundaries between the one that happened during the colonialists, and the last one being the German and the English territories of this area, where Ghana became a territory of breeding, and Togo became that of the French. So after that, the redemarcation resulted in some land misunderstanding, which has been age-long. More importantly, to encourage the local community that beyond the assembly here, a state institution very responsible for our boundary issues, the Boundary Commission, has visited the grounds to assure them that all the issues we have been raising towards the outfit are being properly addressed.
Chief of Volta Achem Solomon Komlaga says he's excited about the intervention from the Ghana Boundary Commission. He believes it will put to rest the long-standing disagreements between the people. National Coordinator of the National Boundary Commission, Major General Jimano Kotia, says his outfit will use best international practices to resolve the disagreement over the international boundary line.
Here, the people of Volta Achem, we are aware of the major problem that you face with Onyengba Toje, which is in Togo, where the international boundary line, there have been some problems surrounding that so far as the two communities are concerned. We have got a number of briefings. We have gone to the ground. We have inspected the boundary pillars along the area. Currently, the District Security Council has come off a decision that both sides should avoid certain areas within the boundary line. Both sides should avoid farming across the boundary line, whilst we find amicable solution to the problem with our counterparts with Togo. So we want to use this forum to appeal to all of you to abide by the decision of the District Security Council and the District Assembly, whilst the Ghana Boundary Commission would engage its counterparts in Togo to be able to resolve this issue amicably. And I can assure you that we are going to initiate discussions so that we'll see how best we can find a lasting solution to the problem that we are facing in this area.
As we move to the festive season, there are those underprivileged who will need support. There are a few who pay attention to this, and that's why we have here Father Andrew Campbell. He's the founder of the Lepers Aid Committee and retired from active priesthood recently. He's here for a conversation, and I know you retired this year, right?
I retired from active parish work. I'm still active as a priest in all my activities. I'm active from Christ the King, where I was the parish priest there.
50 years of service.
Years, yes.
Congratulations, Father.
Thank you very much.
First, let's talk about your journey, the 50 years journey. How has it been?
Ups and downs. I came on the 13th of October 1971. I arrived at Tema Harbour after coming by boat after 30 days on the high seas.
Okay.
I came and arrived, and for the 50 years I worked in St. Peter's Parish, Osu. I worked at the Holy Spirit Cathedral. I worked in Tema. I worked in Sacred Heart Parish. And finally, I worked for 12 years at Christ the King Parish. Okay. And from there, I retired on the 31st of May of this year. Now I'm living permanently. I'm living out in Wage with the lepers. I'm living on their compound. I have a house there. So I'm living with them, taking care of them and looking after them. That's what I'm doing now.
You are doing some great job there. I'm sure now you speak some of our dialects. Which one do you speak?
Oh, I try to speak Ga. But most of the people, me and Jugman. Fine.
Okay, and you're talking about most of the people. You were saying something.
People there, they speak, either Twi or Hausa.
Okay.
And so I'm learning some Hausa.
True, you can speak a little Hausa.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know I can't.
But I know you've also put together a book, and that's a copy of the book, right?
Yes. Tomorrow,
the Lepers Priest.
The Lepers Priest. Tomorrow is we're celebrating our normal annual Christmas concert with the Winneba Youth Choir. They've been with us all these years, supporting us, helping us to raise funds for the lepers all over the country, in the 5 different settlements in the country. So one lady came to me over a year ago. She's a lecturer in history in KNUST. Her name is Maria Marciano Cusiana. And she said, I want to write a book about your life, Father.
Okay.
You're 50 years working in Ghana. So she wrote this book, The Lepers Priest.
Wow.
The Lepers Priest.
The
So we're going to,
Priest.
tomorrow, tomorrow's going to be a big day for us because our patron will be there, the Vice President, he'll be there, and it'll be launched by Her Ladyship, Georgina Wood. She will launch the book, and Mrs. and Mr. Arthur is going to review the book, and my friend Sam Okujido is going to chair the occasion tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we want to raise funds, for about 5 different settlements all over the country. So Christmas time is a nice time to bring them gifts. So I want us to raise money tomorrow to be able to feed all of these over Christmas. So any monies we get tomorrow will help us to buy rice, cooking oil, sugar, all of these things. We want to be able to buy them. So I have a Christmas present for all of them. So we go to the different settlements and give them their Christmas. This is what I want to do.
And I'm sure they'll be happy to receive those.
Very, very
let's talk a little about this book.
It goes through my whole life.
Okay. Tell me about it.
From the time I was born.
From the time you were born. But let's talk about your service in Ghana.
Yes. My work, I worked mainly school work. I did a lot of school work with children. I did work at prisons, Usher Fort Prison. I was there for over 15, 16 years in Usher Fort in James Fort Prison. I worked with the street ladies around cantonments, helping them, get off the streets, to be able to get them back, into society and to get off the streets. So I helped them too. I also helped the street children. Last year, we were 5 years since I founded the Street Children of Christ the King. We have a soup kitchen there, so I've helped the street children to get them off the streets. And we've sent so many of them to school, so we want them off the streets and get them to school and carry on from there to get work. So these are some of the projects which I did over the past years.
And definitely your priesthood has ended, but you
No, my priesthood hasn't ended. No, once a priest, always a priest.
Always
as
a priest.
Parish priest.
As parish priest, that has ended.
Yeah.
But you've decided to still volunteer to work in Ghana.
That's right. I volunteered. I could have gone back to my hometown, but I said no. I want to stay here. You see, last year when I was sick, I was sent to University of Ghana Medical Center. People thought I had COVID. I hadn't got COVID. I had a clot in the lung, pneumonia in the lung. And I went down to my blood pressure went to 70/30.
Goodness.
Which is a reading for a dead body, but I managed. God brought me back to life
Definitely.
again. And He gave me a message. Well, I was lying in bed on those machines, the heart machine, the oxygen machine, the drip, all this. He gave me a message, said, you haven't finished your work. Go and help the poor.
Definitely.
And I knew that was for me because I was retiring. And this was the message He gave me. And that's the message. I want to carry that through since I'm well and strong. And thank God for my gift of my life, my health. I want to carry on to help people like these acute lepers. They need help.
They do.
They get only subsidy they get a month 30 cedis from the LEAP fund. Apart from that, they don't get any other help. We have to take care of their food, their medicals, all of this, pay for the utilities, all of this we have to do. And we don't have the resources. So I'm always begging for them to get more money to be able to help them. And because you take the medicals, even though they're on the NHIS, yet we spend a lot of money, you know, buying medicine for them, going various procedures. Just 2 weeks ago, I spent over 3,000 cedis in 1 week. We had to send them for various procedures. So where do we get that money from? Who gives us that money? That's what we get from our donations from our benefactors and friends. And people, when they find out, very good. Like 2 days ago, somebody came and stole the water pump for the lepers.
Goodness.
Stole it, and that's the second time. We have it in a cage, locked. And he came in with his tools and
stole it.
And he stole the water pump. So there's no water there today.
Oh, goodness.
There's no water.
That's
so
sad.
We have to relocate everything, and it's going to cost about 3,000 cedis to do that. Why do that? Why steal from the lepers? These people have nothing. They have nothing.
I mean, it's sad, but I want to say God bless you for the good work you're doing, and He will keep you safe for us all the time. Because, like you said, that message, you have to continue with the good work. How has the support been so far?
People have been very good. I get lots of phone calls, Father, can I help you? What do you need, Father? So people are learning from, I don't know where they're learning, I don't know who's giving them my phone number, but I'm happy. And they're finding out from one another. And they phone me and they say, what can we do for you, Father? Can we help you? What do we do? So word is going around. Because last year wasn't good with the COVID. People didn't come last year, but now they're coming back. And various societies are coming back to come. Maybe somebody's birthday or somebody's anniversary, and now the Christmas is coming. We know people will support us and help us.
And so if anybody wants to support, what do they do?
Well, either they can send money through my Momo.
Okay.
I can give you my number.
Okay, mention
024 332
6643. So the numbers to call if you want to support the lepers is 024326643.
Correct.
0243326643. You can send a Momo to help the work of God.
If you want to send some food to us, you can come and visit me at Wage, the Leprosarium. You can come there and see me. I'm always there. And I'd be very grateful. Because people are very generous to us. Because you think last year, during the COVID period, and we were helping the lepers in all the different settlements, we were helping up to 800 street children a day. Where did all that come from? It came from our people who send me money to my Momo, sent food and one thing. They were very, very generous.
The Lepers. And tomorrow's event. Am I invited to the event
tomorrow? Most welcome to come and join us. The Winnipeg Youth Choir have been supporting us over the past years. So they'll come. So it's going to be a Christmas concert and with the book launch in between to help us so that we'll be able to sell this book. And all the proceeds will go towards helping all the lepers in the various 5 settlements in this country here. So we need the support as much as possible.
Thank you very much. We will be there tomorrow to support you, Reverend Father Campbell. Now, during Christmas, hampers are given as gifts to loved ones and the needy. These hampers usually contain small, non-perishable food items, particularly seasonal favorites such as chocolate, biscuits, rice, and cooking oil. But this year, there's a new introduction to the hamper business in Kumasi, the water hamper. There's more in this report.
Mame Amateria sells hampers at Edum in Kumasi. Her customers ask for water when they come to buy. With such demand, she decided to make water a part of her special hamper packages this Christmas.
Some of my customers demand we add water to our packages.
On the 3rd day of Christmas, my true love said to me.
The The price ranges from 20 cedis to 80 cedis depending on the size. Mami Ama says the water hamper is here to stay.
And so now different. On the beer or package, you know. The would be good basket in my wrapper.
The price vary according to the size of the hampers.
A be a 25, a be a 15.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me.
Would you be happy to receive a hamper full of water as a gift? Well, here are some responses from the streets of Kumasi.
Mr. Benjidi, and two niska, namitim baby, and fanso and rapuka and family.
I will reject anyone who gives me a hamper full of water.
Yeah, I will, because there is a saying that have a look is better than none. So, as I say, the award don't say no demand. So why not? I will accept it, because it's a gift. So every gift is a gift. It doesn't matter the amount of the gift. So I will accept it.
We need be a soldier.
Why would you give water as a Christmas gift?
Now the background when you move a messenger return
hamper the obvious but it's hamper the normal say woman more be a one some be a sudden.
Hamper usually contain rice, oil and others. But it doesn't make sense when you package water as a gift.
Sister, I
feel so you can say I'm on photo a coconut money and one
while others are buying chicken and rice as gifts, why would someone give me water?
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me.
Remember, gifts are given freely, and as the popular Akan adage goes, Mia Ewa Odon Semina Odema. Reporting for JoyNews, Bilkis Mohammed.
Well, me, I'll take the water, so bring it to me, and that'll be it. So take a break. I'll be bringing you the very latest from the sports world.
Hi and welcome to the sports segment here on Pulse with me, Ray Kwampofu. National 100-meter record holder Benjamin Azamati says that he was tense prior to his race at the Olympics Games earlier this year. The 23-year-old failed to make it past the heat after finishing 4th in Heat 7 behind Australia's Rohan Broen and Johan Blake of Jamaica, and then Great Britain's Chinedu Uja. Now, Azamati has been speaking to my colleague George Addo Jr. in detail about his maiden Olympics appearance.
I mean, I think for you, and knowing you, I'm sure the Olympics played in your mind a lot.
Yes, it did. But to talk about the Olympics, I mean, it was the biggest stage I've ever gone to, aside the World Championship. The World Championship was one that I didn't get the chance to run an individual race, but this time I'm there running an individual race. But as a person representing West Texas A&M, representing Ghana, being a Ghanaian record holder, it brings a lot of pressure. You understand? So getting there, I was nervous. To be honest with you, I was really, really nervous. And to talk about the second fastest human in the world being by you, that's something extra. So, and I don't have the experience just like them. And if you could hear the commentator, he was like, yeah, I've been doing really, really well in the college system, but I have been running all by myself. You understand? So I don't have the experience that these guys have. Do you get it? So at that moment, they beat me to it, like psychologically. Yes, this guy is nervous. So my times and their times, yes, I could have won that race. Yes, if I've run that good, I could have won. But the psychological part
game was big.
Yes,
I was just even thinking about your the build up to yours. I think in Heat 5. You were in Heat 7?
Yeah, Heat 7.
Yeah, so Heat 5, African gets disqualified.
Yes.
Age 6, African gets disqualified.
Understand.
At that point, you had to be very careful about your start.
I was watching in there. I was like, damn, another African country got out.
Yeah.
Another African country.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do?
And like
should I have to take time in the blocks? Like all those things play on my mind. So yeah, it was a big factor.
It was a great experience.
Yeah, but it was a great experience. I got to talk up to a few professional athletes, and it's nothing big. You just have to learn a few things from them and all that. I'm still in touch with them and they are helping me. So I think next year is going to come out good.
Yeah, and the thing that you said about, you know, the experience that these guys have, because obviously because they go for more meets, they see each other more.
Yes.
And you were missing that.
Yeah, you're a new guy. Who are you? You are just running with college guys. We run amongst each other. We know what we can do. We know how to focus on our race. If you watch my race, you knew I was focusing on Blake. I was not focusing on myself. Yes, that amounted to that. That amounted to me running such a time. That was the poorest race I've ever run that season.
Yeah.
I get a 10:13. I've not run beyond even 10:07.
Yeah.
So it shows you like what I was going through at that time. And also, I sat for 2 months before the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, as a country, you know, other athletes had their country sending them to meet, their association sending them to meet. I didn't have the opportunity. My coaches couldn't enter me into meet. Do you get it? So I felt I lost my race shape and everything. So they all played a role in it. But you know, it's a learning process. And this time I don't have to sit down for the country to send me to meet now. I have to do things by myself. Yes. So yeah, it was a great experience basically.
It's important. It's important. It's going through that and I wouldn't count the number of times he has watched the race over and over again, knowing Azamati and all of that. So you guys stay in touch? I mean, Joe Paul and the rest of you guys stay in touch?
Yeah, we are in touch all the time. Joe usually calls. He's a guy that wants to check about all of us to know whether we are healthy and all that. So yeah, he's the team captain, so of course he has to do that. So, but we are very much in touch, and I think Sean is going to come down to train for World Indoor. So. Yeah, when he comes, I'm going to train him and all that. So yeah, we are all in touch.
It's a big 2022. I mean, for athletics lovers like us, I mean, for everybody, because there's so much to come.
Yeah.
I mean, really so much to come, and I'm sure you're looking at each event with a wicked eye.
Yes, of course. Yeah, having the experience from the Olympic Games, I think next year is really going to be big for me because we have the World Championship in the UK. We have
you got the Commonwealth Games as well.
Yeah, we have the Commonwealth Games in UK and the World Championship in the US.
Yes.
So take them one by one. Yes, first I have the NCAA season.
Yes.
That is where I have to build myself and everything, and then go into the Commonwealth Games. I have high hopes going into the Commonwealth Games and the World Championship too. All I have to do is stay healthy and then keep on practicing.
Well, good. So, let's ask, if I put you by the president, what are you going to ask him to do for Ghana Athletics?
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of things.
And maybe I want to make it. If I make it, what is he going to do for Ghana Athletics? It will be like you're taking the job of the GA president. So
that's true.
I want you to tell me what you asked the president to do for our student athletes.
Yes.
You see, because of the gaps and the drops and the fact that there's school to finish, what kind of help do you guys need?
Okay, so with my experience in the US, you know, you are in school for the academic work, yes. So the fact that you're a student athlete and doing sports, the professors or the lecturers have to take into consideration that you would have time to go for practice. So that is what I would do. The sports directorate or the president of the sport has to sit with if it's the dean or I don't know how to term it, but your sports schedule has to be factored into your academic schedule too.
Okay.
That the fact that I have to go to class from 8 to 3 and from 3 I have practice. That means you don't have to pick any class that is beyond 3. Do you get it? That is what they do for me. And you can mix eyes. So far as your coach tells your professors that, hey, I have this event coming up. I'm going for a meet. You understand? So you can miss eyes and you can make up for it. But I think in Ghana here, no, you don't have that. When you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah, in trouble.
And you pay for it. So those things play a role in the athlete's head. I'm going for a meet. I'm leaving my academic work down. You're not even focused at that time. You need everything in the tracks. You need to be focused. But if you have a divided attention, it's not going to go well for you. No. So I think those things have to be considered. Factor the fact that they are sports people into consideration. Put them into their schedule. Let them have time to go for sports. Excuse them to go for meets and all that. And then aside that, yes, I know there have been coaches being sent to do IAF courses and all that. Yes, and then also another thing will be stipends for student athletes, be it national athletes or the student that want to, this is what I want to do. This is the field I've taken. Let's say the school not in section. I want to, practice and all that. Like those things will help them, travel from here A to B. Most of them really don't have the financial needs. You understand? So you give them that, and then it's going to help them. And then one thing is I've realized is when I was in the University of Ghana, my coach did the track and then also the gym. It doesn't help because he has little knowledge about the gym. So you would think you are improving the athlete, but no, you are not. So there should be like a course for people who want to do strength and conditioning, because back in my school we have the coach for the strength and conditioning is someone who has done his masters. He did specifically in weight. You understand? So if you have such a person here, it's not just about coming here and running. No, you have to build your muscles. If you don't have that, people are going to beat you to that.
It's important you know that, because when I spoke to Coach Steele, he said that when they met you, the one thing they needed to work on immediately was that.
That's it. And look at how fine I am right now. So that was the only thing that was needed. My technique was fine. You can have all that, but if you don't have the strength, no, people are going to beat you all the time. So I feel like there should be a course for also strength and conditioning. Have a gym for national athletes. That when they come, they have a coach that will train them and everything. That is what we lack. So we can do all the runnings, but if we don't have that strength and conditioning, no.
You got it. We're looking forward to that special year. I mean, but aside all the athletics and all of that, you've been whiling away time a bit. You're a Barcelona fan. It's brought a lot of grief to you, hasn't it?
I don't want to talk about Barcelona.
But have you decided to leave the club? Are you on loan? Do you want a club to take you on loan? Chelsea's available if you want to.
I'm a PSG fan, so
so now you're PSG.
Yeah, I'm just watching PSG for some time because of Messi. So but then I've not left Barcelona.
But difficult times for Barcelona.
Yes, it's really difficult times. We can't even win a game. Like it's very bad.
And then Barcelona in the Europa.
We will come back. Now we just have kids in the game. Gradual. So it's gradual. And step by step.
And how have you been feeling and feeding into the Black Stars, in action, all of that with the South Africa? Have you been watching the Black Stars?
Yes, I do. I watch them. I've been watching their games and everything. I think they are doing really, really well. They've qualified for the World Cup.
They are now the final phase.
They have to play the playoffs to get to the final. So I think they are doing really, really well. And having the coach back, I think
everything is working. And you follow the Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, the National Science and Maths quiz,
yes,
I guess.
Of course. The boys did well, but
in fact, when I watched the Formula One, I'm like, oh wow, this one looks like the Presec Prempeh thing like that. Presec were almost winning, and Prempeh took it away. Just
we still have 6,
so you're good.
We are still the reigning champions. We have 6.
There's always blue pride somewhere in the pockets.
Exactly.
No matter how you do it. So, Machi, thank you very much for your time. But what will be your final words to those who followed you heavily? I mean, tweeting, following your tweets, following everything as Amati, and of course, following the whole quartet. Just all of you. What you got to tell them?
Yeah. So I've got people asking me when are you competing and everything. The indoor season starts next year, and I'll be competing somewhere around the end of January. And of course, I feel next season is really going to be a good season for me. Looking at the experiences I've gathered so far this year, I think taking those experiences into the next season will be something that will be very, very good for me. So yes, this is not my best season yet. There's more to come from Azamati. And I want to say a very big thank you to all my fans, people that always call to check up on me and pray for me and all that. And also I have words for young and upcoming athletes, to not give up on their dreams, but to be disciplined, determined, and dedicated to whatever that you are doing. If you are not focused, you aren't going to get to the level where you want to be. So, but of course, you have to also take your academics seriously, because academics took me to where I am now. So you have to combine both and then do well. Never question greatness.
Yeah, never question greatness. That's Azamati for you. Yeah, he still holds a record for 100 meters, and we all saw him do it in style, 9.97 seconds, and he had a fantastic season. Now you want to go on to my Joy Online and go and check out. You have to check out that little piece I did, Azamati, the latest race car, you know, ripping all the records out there in town. And with that, you can have a whole catalog of exactly what he did in, you know, back in college. He did so well in school as well. Fantastic one. Thank you very much, Azamati, for your time once again. And wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching.
Well, that was an exclusive feature with Benjamin Azamati. You can get some more sports stories on our Twitter handle @JoySportsGH. My name is Obiri Kwampopo, and over to you, Aisha.
And that's how we wrap up the polls this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the stories and updates of all the developing stories for you there. Enjoy the rest of our programs.